Welcome. This is an actual play of a role-playing game. All the participants are adults. The content is intended for adult viewers. We strive to keep the content PG to PG-13, but it is a horror story and may contain horror themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy. Howdy, friends and floor heads. It is time to play one of my favorite horror games, which is Fear itself. And it's available from Pelgrane Press. Now, if you are a regular watcher of the channel, you probably have figured out that horror is one of my favorite genres, both as a player as well as a GM. And you saw the little warning at the beginning, talking about the fact that this may contain adult content. And I'm going to do something with this particular run that I don't think I've done with any other one, which is I'm going to talk a little bit about some content warnings. Few things. One, this is going to be pretty intense. I think it's going to be definitely intense for the characters. I have a feeling it'll be pretty intense for the players. It'll be intense for me, but I also want to be conscious of those of you watching. I think this will be an intense as well. So from a content warning standpoint, I think the big one to make sure that you're aware of is that we anticipate there to be a decent amount of body horror in this. So if body horror is something that is a little much for you, then this may not be the best thing for you to watch, but we've got a bunch of other things on the channel that you guys can check out. But if you're still here, I think we're going to get started. So you've got some familiar faces and some new faces. You guys know Shadika. Shadika actually played in both Call of Cthulhu as well as the first Fear itself. So Shadika, it's good to have you back. And then we've got Kevin, who also played in that same Call of Cthulhu game. Good to see you, Kevin. Naomi, my web weaver friend who played Web World with me. And then we've got a new player, John, who we're super excited to. So John, thanks for coming. It's February 2022 in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I want to start by having each of my players close their eyes and keep them closed. Because all four of you are asleep. You see, 6 months ago, you were all in Lehigh County Hospital for different reasons. Each of you had an injury or an incident that has kept you in the hospital for about 5.5 months now. Now, about 3 months ago, your families were told that you're going to be okay. So you've really spent the last few months in this state-of-the-art research hospital, getting on the mend, getting better. And for each of you, it's been anticipated that you would be released and be able to start your lives again after this horrible, horrible half year, really within maybe a month, month and a half at the most. Now, last night, each of you had a normal evening. in your private room in Lehigh County Hospital. You fell asleep. And now it's 2 a.m. Now, Morgan, your eyes are still closed, but for whatever reason, you're starting to wake. And as you slowly open your eyes, you immediately notice everything's different. So there's a privacy curtain drawn around your bed, which you didn't have when you fell asleep. Looking at the bed, it's not a state-of-the-art bed with a remote control that lets you move up and down and sit up and bring your legs up and down. It's one of those old, thin metal framed beds. The sheets that you're under are tissue thin and old. You look down at the floor, and instead of that clean, smooth floor that you fell asleep seeing, what you now see is a floor covered in gray square tile that has seen better days. What you smell is that chemical clean smell, like that pine bleach smell that you can tell that whoever has cleaned this room last is doing its best to make it smell better. But you can still tell just how old everything around you is. As a matter of fact, the IV that's running from the bag to your arm is not on one of those state-of-the-art pumps that are plugged into the wall. It's an old rusty stand, and it's just naturally through gravity dripping into your arm. Now, Morgan, you're in a bit of pain. Can we talk real quick why? So what brought us here?
Yeah. So Morgan's the host of a syndicated podcast. And, he tours the country giving presentations and speeches and self-help lectures. So he was in Allentown, and following the presentation, he was doing a book signing. And somebody walked up and started yelling at him, saying, "Why did you do this to my wife?" and shot him in the stomach. So Morgan has been kind of out of commission for a while. He's stressed about, keeping his sponsors so he can keep his podcast going. He's in quite a bit of debt. They purchased, a facility in Red Rocks so he could start having camps. And so he's ready to get out, and he is not pleased that the conditions have changed.
Yeah, something happened
Not
overnight.
used to this.
So what are we going to do, Morgan?
I think Morgan, first of all, he's going to look around to see if there's a call button.
There is not. So normally in the bed you fell asleep in, there was a button that was part of the bed, right? Because the bed was fully geared up as well. But no, you don't see any kind of call button or anything.
Okay. So he's going to start shouting out for a nurse or an attendant. He's not patient at this. He wants somebody in there now, wants to know what's going on.
So Morgan, as you start yelling, you're going to wake up 3 other roommates that you didn't know you had. So I need all 3 of my other characters to go ahead and open their eyes. And what I described for Morgan is the same for each of you. You have privacy curtains that are drawn around your bed. You were alone when you fell asleep in the county hospital. And now you hear someone yelling for nurses, and they're in the room.
Oh my God. Shut up.
Where's the bedside light?
We're trying to sleep over here. Why are you making so much noise? Jeez.
What the hell's going on? I mean, this isn't where I went to sleep. So,
I'm still dreaming.
is anybody
Nurse,
coming into the room yet?
what time is this? And I'm gonna see if I reach for the bedside table on my phone. Is it there?
So, yeah, Sam, normally right there, you'd have at your bedside table, you would have, some of your personal effects, your cell phone and things like that. Not only are those effects not there, but there is no bedside table. So you are 360 degrees surrounded by just this privacy curtain. And when you look up, you can see it's very easy if you were to get out of bed to pull that curtain, right? This is a curtain that you have in any hospital where you have a shared room, and they would pull the curtain around so that you would have some privacy.
Where's my stuff? And I'm gonna sit up and check if I've still got my my sleeping gown on. I am.
Don't. In fact, you're wearing a very like sickly greenish blue hospital gown that's tied in the back, which is not what you fell asleep wearing.
What the hell's going on? Who's there? And
Okay. Maybe we just did kind of a group bender thing.
The group bender. They didn't serve me any alcohol last night. Did they give you alcohol?
Do I remember anything from last night?
Last
Besides
night,
just going to bed.
yeah, last night was just, I mean, it is what you falling asleep last night was the same as the nights have been for a while. And Sam, as you're sitting up, you also have a bit of pain, which is related to why you're here. So can we quickly talk about why you've been in the hospital for so long?
well, I just woke up from a coma about a bit over a month ago after being in a coma for about over 3 months. I was apparently in a car accident coming back from someplace where I shouldn't have been. But, well, I spent 3 months in a coma. I'm just very glad that they didn't pull the plug before I woke up. And I've been spending the last month slowly getting all functions back into place.
So when you feel pain as a result of this car accident and being in a coma, where is that centralized? What part of your body is hurt?
I think it's mainly my legs and my feet. They were actually, I had some pretty bad breaks, and that's what I've been, most of them healed while I was sleeping, so that was good, but it still aches.
So same question for Ken. Ken, let's talk about why you're here and what hurts.
Ken tried to take his own life after the death of his family. He's been in the hospital for the last couple of months. He's suffering from some burns along his back and up his neck.
And how about Angela?
Whew. Well, she was at a party and she may have overindulged in a few different substances, which caused her to have a violent seizure, and she sustained a head injury and some broken bones. So a lot of the pain is in her head, her arm, and probably her upper leg.
So Sam, sitting up, you see exactly what I've described, right? The one thing that you do notice that I haven't talked about, and all of you, if you look at the end of the bed, you see this, you have a clipboard that's attached to the outside end of this old bed. Now, your patient records at the county were built into the bed. The bed had its own like storage area for it to be. It wasn't on a clipboard or anything like this, but you immediately can see the back of that clipboard hanging at the end of each of your beds.
Okay. I think I'm gonna kind of sit up, pull the blanket or whatever it is around me, and get out of bed, step down. I can imagine the floor is probably really cold.
Yeah, it's really cold, and Sam, this is a lot of exertion, and you have been out and about and moving and things for a while, but you're still not 100%. That's why you're still in the hospital. I need you to take 1 hit points of damage to get out of bed.
So I'm gonna yelp and then kind of stagger, but like head to the. I pull the curtain away. Is there enough light to read anything, and just look around and grab my the clipboard thing?
So let's talk about what happens when you pull that curtain, and the room that you're in is about half the size larger than the room you fell asleep in. You see 3 other privacy curtains pulled, which doesn't surprise you. You've already heard these voices. You know you're not in this room alone. The room itself, though, has seen better days. The tile that lines the walls, not all of the tiles are there. Some are missing. Some will likely be missing in the next 24 hours as they kind of peel away from the wall itself. There is a overhead fluorescent dim lighting in the room. So yeah, if you have enough light to read by, if you want to do that.
Okay. Looking around, and I pull up the clipboard and see, does it state, is my name on it?
It is. Your name is on there, and written in pen as opposed to typed out and printed out from a computer is everything that of your medical history, your allergies, what you've been through, the treatments that you have gotten, the diagnoses that you've gotten. Each of the bottoms of the sheets is signed by Dr. Haverly, who is the supervising doctor for you at county. But as you get to the last page, you see that Dr. Haverly authorized a transfer. He authorized you to be transferred to the Old Lady Lehigh Hospital. And Sam, remind me, you have points in history, right?
Yeah. I've got 2 points in history.
So without spending any points, you immediately know this hospital. It is a hospital that's about 3 miles outside of the county hospital. It was founded by the Catholics. It has been here for well over 100 years. It has not been a nice hospital for at least 50 years. It has always been run down. In fact, there's parts of the hospital that aren't even being used anymore. And the few areas of the hospital that still are being used is a bit of an overflow from county. So you have known that, like, some people, as they're getting better, that it's not critical. If there is, a shortage of beds at county, they'll transfer patients here to kind of, continue and finish out their time before they're ready. So this is almost like a holding area for people that don't need critical attention.
This was not discussed with me. I did not agree to this. I did not consent. My insurance is paying for a hell of a lot more than this. And
you must have better insurance than me.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't just transfer people in the middle of the. What's the date on it? Is there a date on
the last entry for the transfer? It was signed yesterday.
You can't just transfer people. Nurse, and I don't know if Morgan's also calling. I'm also going to call out nurse. I've got my clipboard. And
I think Morgan is trying to swing his feet over the edge of the bed. He hasn't walked a lot, but he has been standing. And Morgan's starting to shout and really irate. I want my goddamn cell phone. It's mine. What did you guys do with it? I'm expecting calls.
The amount of noise that Sam and Morgan are creating now is extensive. And anybody outside of this room, I think anybody that's anywhere close to this room would be able to hear as the volume goes up on their voices as their frustration increases. And I think the fact that so much noise now is engulfed this room from our 2 irate patients, I think that's why, even with that noise, the bang startles all of you. And it's a loud bang. Now, the only person who sees this is Sam, because she's the only one that has pulled the curtain. And Sam, when you pull the curtain, you see that there's one door on the far end of the room. It flies open. And that bang is the door just crashing into the back of the wall. And standing there in the door is a man. He's barely wearing a hospital gown. In fact, you can tell that the hospital gown is not tied in the back. So it's kind of falling off one of his shoulders. He's got almost like a leathery feel to his skin, or look to his skin. He might be 30 years old. He might be 60 years old. He's one of those people that is either he is 60 or he's had a real hard 30 years on this planet. He's got deep lines. He's got an unkept beard, very bushy eyebrows, hair that has obviously not been washed or kept for at least weeks at this point. A crazed look in his eye. Even though you know his eyes are the same size, they look like one's larger than the other. What's shocking is the pool of blood that's under him between his legs. And he starts screaming. "Ah! Yeah! La, 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 la." Everybody hears this. I need a quick stability test for everybody. So let's welcome to Fear Itself. So in Fear Itself, each of these characters has what's called stability. Stability is kind of a measure of how well they're able to kind of keep their shit together. By no means is it, even though it's often compared to sanity and Call of Cthulhu, it's a very, very different animal. It has nothing to do with mental health. Fear Itself is a very simple gumshoe system. So this is going to be a difficulty 4 stability test, which means each of these characters is going to roll a d6. And if they roll a 4 or higher, they pass the stability test. If they roll below that, they fail. But they also have points in stability. These are points that will be burnt over time as they lose their stability in this wonderful little hospital of ours. But they have the ability to spend those points. So for example, if Angela has 10 points of stability, Shadika could decide to say, you know what? I really want to pass this one. So Craig, I'm going to spend one of those points of stability to add 1 to my roll. So whatever, now if she rolls a 3, 4, 5, or 6, she'll pass this 4 difficulty. So let's go ahead and start with my Fear Itself veteran, Shadika. Shadika, I need you to take a difficulty 4 stability test. Do you wish to spend any stability?
Not going to spend anything. Just going to see how this goes.
Just roll a straight d6.
All right.
You pass. So no stability lost. How about Morgan? But we can't hear you, Kevin.
You're on mute.
There we go. I'm just going to roll straight.
All right, let's do it.
I rolled the wrong thing.
That's all right.
Roll with the dice.
Yeah, just right at the very bottom, hit the D6 and give it a roll.
Oh. All right, I'm not seeing where it is.
Okay, do you see at the very bottom of the chat window where the die roller is? You see where it says roll and there's different dice?
I was in the wrong spot.
Okay. Good way to build suspense though, Kevin.
Oh.
All right. So Morgan fails his stability test. I need you to drop your stability by 2. And as we go around the horn, I want you to think about what that means for Morgan. John, I need you to roll for Ken, please. Do you want to spend any stability?
Yeah, I think I'll spend 2.
Okay. So what you'll do then is hit the D6 and hit +2. So it'll end up saying 1d6 plus 2. Give it a roll. All right, that puts you at a 5. So you just drop your stability by the 2 you spent. And last but not least, Sam.
I'm feeling very vulnerable. I think I'm going to spend 2. So I'm the only one actually standing there. So.
All right, that gives you a 7. So all you lose is the 7 that are the 2 that you spent to get there. So I'm going to. Luckily, Angela, Sam, and Ken, you're able to miraculously somehow be startled by this, but not to the point where it's you're not able to kind of control yourself completely. But Morgan, this is shaking you. So what does that look like?
Well, I think, first of all, it scared me, and I'm kind of shaky on my feet anyway. So I think, I'm trying to get back into bed, but I stumble fall backwards, and I try to pull the sheet down, kind of hide as the best I can. Try to squeeze under the bed just to get away from this. I don't know what's going on, but that was a sound of pure terror.
So he's standing there screaming. And Sam, you see this happening, but he is now running directly towards one of the beds, not yours.
Okay, I think I'm gonna
What's everybody
also kind of, yelp. I've got the clipboard still in my hand, and I'm just, waving it in front of me. It's like,
if you're trying to get as far away from this gentleman as possible, I think if you were to go around to the other side of your bed, between where your bed is and the wall, that's probably going to be the what Sam would consider the safest place right now.
I think just to the other side of the room, and one of the beds of the other one of the others' beds. I want to be close to somebody else, not on my own.
Got it. So you cross the room as he starts running to this other bed, and we're going to have you heading directly towards Angela's bed. So you're headed in her direction. Ken, you're laying there, and the curtain gets torn off, and you see the man that I've just described. Sam, you notice that this blood is still coming from this man because it's dripping as he's now moved his way across. So what you're staring at right now, Ken, at the base of your bed is this man screaming, and he's screaming in a language. Does anybody have languages?
No.
I think so.
Okay. You can tell it sounds German, but none of you can tell what he's yelling. He's screaming at you, Ken. This is directed at you, and you are laying, and he is at your feet.
All right. It looks like he's being very aggressive. He's ripped the curtain down, so I'm probably just going to kick right out at his face, try to get him away from my bed.
Okay, great. So we got to do two things. One, we're going to do a skirmish roll, but before that, I need you to take 1 hit point of damage for exerting yourself. This is going to be a difficulty 3 skirmish roll. If you have anything in skirmish, you can spend points to augment this roll.
Scuffling?
Scuffling is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend 2 on that.
Okay. All right, that puts you at a 5. So Ken, as he's like closing in on you, you kick him right in the face, and he knocks back, and he felt it. Right. In fact, let's have a little bit of blood coming from his lip where you kind of busted his lip a little bit. He looks back down at you. He now jumps onto the bed. He is now on your bed at your feet and has now launched himself at your waist and is trying to pull the sheets away from your waist.
I'm going to try to get out of the bed to begin with and try to put some distance between me and him.
Great. I need to know what Morgan's doing.
Yeah, Morgan is, he pulled the sheet down when he kind of fell. I think he's going to slide under the bed, assuming there's probably enough room for him to get under there, and kind of pull the blanket with him, and he is going to try to hide.
How far?
Let's be very quiet.
Take 1 damage for me. Go ahead.
How far am I away? Because I might say, leave him alone and perhaps head over there I've still got my clipboard.
Yeah, he's only about 10 or 15 feet away.
Okay.
And you are right at Angela's bed, but there's still the curtain there unless either you or Angela push it away. Angela, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Angela was about to go back underneath the covers and pretend none of this was happening. But what I'm going to do is she's going to push open the privacy curtains and try to quickly get out of bed to kind of see what's happening. And then upon seeing a crazy man, got no weapons, nothing, she's going to just try to throw the blanket over him and say, calm down.
So Sam, you get out of bed, take 1 damage. You like everybody else are wearing one of these hospital gowns. You take the sheets off of your bed, and as you pull the curtain aside, you see Sam standing there with her clipboard, and you immediately see this man in this bed, your roommate now, being attacked by this man, this nude man who's barely has got a gown covering any part of him. But from your perspective, you're seeing all of him in his morning glory. And as you start bringing the sheet towards him, right, to try to kind of tackle him, I guess, and kind of capture him like a net, you see the blood, and you see where the blood is coming from. It's coming from his empty scrotum, which you just see there, just blood coming from it. And the skin just hanging there as he's attacking Ken.
Is there anything I can hit him with?
Well, I've got my clipboard and I'm ready. I'm like, that's not right. Leave him alone and try to just hit him on the back.
All right. If you hit him on the back, I'll try to cover him. You hit him on the back. I don't know what's happening here. A lot more serious than she thought.
So normally it would be a difficulty 3 scuffling for both of you, but because you're doing it together, coordinated, I'm going to drop the difficulty down to 2. So I just need a difficulty 2 for scuffling for each of you.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I'm still shouting that's not right. Help, leave him alone.
I fumble.
Wait a minute. No, just 1d6.
Yep. Very nice. So, Angela, I don't know if you didn't take mountain netting in college. I'm not sure what's it, but this is not something that you're very good at. So as you kind of head over there, I'm imagining you kind of getting tripped up and stepping on the sheet, and which kind of stops you in your tracks. But luckily, Sam, she bolts directly at him. He's on top of Ken. She takes that clipboard and pops him in the head a few times. And you see him getting hit, and he stops and he kind of pulls away now that he's torn the sheets away from you, Ken. And he is very focused on your waist. He's going for your pelvic area. But Sam has stopped things very briefly. Back to you, Ken.
So I'm imagining this. She's hitting him in the head a couple of times. He stops and pulls up. At that point, I'd like to try to kick him off of me and be able to get up and get on my feet.
Great. Let's do it. That'll be a difficulty 3.
Scuffling or athletics?
Yep, scuffling.
Okay. I'll spend 1 on that.
Okay. So make sure you give yourself a +1. Great. That gives you 4. So you nail him in the bottom of his chin. So he's like this, and he kind of comes, just talking in German, screaming, and he's saying the same thing. He's repeating the same thing over and over again. You just don't know what it is. You hit him in back, and this actually causes him to fall backwards. He now lands on the floor here, and Ken, there's just blood soaked at the base of your bed where this man was. He is bleeding, and he's bleeding profusely right now. He falls back on his back. Sam, you see him fall to your feet. The light from the hallway is now darkened, and you turn. Everybody but Morgan can see this. This giant mountain of a human being comes through the door. He is dressed in scrubs. He is hairless. He's got a square jaw. Surprisingly kind eyes, though it's a little off-putting because he doesn't even have eyebrows. And he's got just these huge hands. A hand that could easily pick up a bowling ball or a basketball. And you see him just walk over and without any difficulty grabs a hold of this man and effortlessly picks him up Also, right behind him, you see a woman in a nurse's uniform, standard, 2022 type scrubs nurse uniform. She comes in, she goes, oh my God, I am so sorry. She's Elf, take him back to where he's supposed to be. We got to get him taken care of. He's hurt himself again. And this large man who she called Elf just starts to turn and carry this man effortlessly outside. The woman is young, likely an attractive woman, maybe in her early 20s or so, but you can tell that emotionally she's been drained, emotionally she's been taxed. So if this was Julia Roberts in a movie with Richard Gere, you'd know how the movie ends, where her hair is flowing and everything, but she's got it in a big tight bun. And she comes in, she immediately goes to you, Ken. She goes, oh my God, are you okay, sir? I am so sorry. Are you okay?
Well, the first thing Ken's doing is he's gonna check his boys to make sure they're all right.
They are.
And then he said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And what the hell was that? And he's gonna turn to the girls and be like, "Are you okay? Thank you for helping."
There's blood everywhere.
I've still got my clipboard in my hand and kind of waving. My hands are shaking. I'm like, what are we doing here? Thanks for getting him out, but what do I know? Have I met you before? What are we doing here?
You have not. You were transferred last night. They brought you in, and we've got you set up here. They've had a surge of COVID related cases that have overflowed the county hospital, and the last minutes of patients have been transferred over here. And I just hate that this is your first introduction to Our Lady of Lehigh. I want you to know this is not normal. Mr. Langley is a troubled man. And he has a history of hurting himself. This is the first time he's made it out of the ward, though, and I can assure you that Alpha is going to get him taken care of, get him medically taken care of, but he will not bother you again. I am so sorry.
Okay, that's yeah, but why didn't they wake? I mean, I woke up here. How you don't just transfer people while they're sleeping? Why didn't I even wake up? I mean, what?
I don't know the answer to that, ma'am, and I'm sorry that nobody had told you. I can definitely in the morning, our head nurse will be here, and we can ask her, and maybe she has some more information, or maybe the doctor, he usually gets here relatively early in the morning. I can definitely have him come in, but I'm just the night nurse. I am so sorry.
I think Morgan starts yelling out from under the bed, "I want my cell phone. I need my cell phone."
So she turns in, and just so you know, for anybody that looks at her name tag has a nurse Dampier, Dampier, on her name tag, and she goes, "Oh, sir, I don't think they brought your effects over. I don't think they've completely cleaned your room out yet. I would expect that probably to come, today. It's only 2 a.m. I don't know if anybody would bring anything, but I would assume by the time, you get breakfast and everything, I would assume that all of your stuff would get here."
I need a phone. I need to call somebody.
Of course. Give me just a moment, and I'll take you to the front desk, and you can make a phone call. I just want to check, ma'am. And she looks to you, Angela. Are you okay?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, I am freaking out. There's still blood everywhere on the floor. We got attacked, and now I'm sharing a room with 4 people. Sorry, it's 4 of us. Yeah, it's also 2 a.m. It's just getting worse and worse the more I talk about it.
And sir, I'll take you to the phone here, but for the rest of you, please, you can just get back into bed, and hopefully get a couple more hours sleep. The morning shift will be here. We'll get you some breakfast. We'll get you settled in. We'll get your stuff. Is there anything I can get for anybody?
Ma'am,
Did they
there
drug
seems to
us?
be some blood on my bed. Could I get a fresh change of sheets?
I will get that changed for you. I'll have an orderly come in here and switch the sheets out. In fact, yes, I'll do that immediately. When we head up to the nurse's station, I'll call somebody and we'll have that taken care of. I'm so sorry. And we'll have
Thank you.
somebody clean this up. And she kind of motions to the excessive blood that's on the floor. Angela, you were going to say something? Oh, you're good?
I'm just speechless.
Yeah. I think I've just the adrenaline rush, and I'm just, I'm gonna sleep. I grab my blanket off the floor, which I dropped, and I've still got still clutching my clipboard, and I just head back to the bed and say, okay, and we'll sort this in the morning. And just climb back into bed, pull the blankets around me, and hold the clipboard.
And so she comes over to you, Morgan, and she kind of says, "Sir, if you want to come with me," she goes, "I'm Nurse Dampier. I can take you right to the phone, and you're welcome to make a call."
All right. So I'm assuming Morgan can walk a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I get up and follow her.
And she's offering to kind of help you if you'll take it. I don't know if you will.
Oh yeah. I'll take any help I can get.
Okay, so she kind of walks you, and as you go into the hallway, Morgan, you look to your left and your right, and the condition of the room is indicative of the condition of this hallway. You can tell that this is a very, very old hospital, that there's been some TLC to try to keep it functional, but it's old. And the fact that it's been well known that Our Lady of Lehigh was going to be probably demolished in the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know if that's a bad idea. She takes you to the nurse's station. The nurse's station is a desk, essentially an L-shaped desk. It has got a computer that looks at least 10 years old. Doesn't even have the flat screen monitor. It's got one of those old deep monitors and kind of the green screen with the green letters. And there's an old phone there, like a conference phone with several buttons on it. And she goes, "Hey, let me get you an outside line." And she hands you the phone and she hits it. And she goes, "What number, sir?"
And I give her the number. It's a
Yep.
Los Angeles number.
Okay. And the phone rings. Who's picking up?
Jonathan. He's my publicist and all-around assistant.
Hello?
Jonathan, you got to get me out of this place. You got to get me out of here. You got to be down here tomorrow.
Morgan, it is, oh my God, it's like 11 o'clock at night. What?
I don't care what time it is. I pay you. You need to get over here and get me out of this place.
Has the doctor, God, Morgan, has the doctor signed you out yet?
No, he hasn't signed me out.
We've
What
been
difference
through
does that
this.
make?
Morgan, we've been through this. The insurance company is not going to cover any of this if you break doctor's orders. We've been through this. I don't know how many times. I know you're frustrated.
Listen here. Do you know what's going to happen? We're about to lose sponsors. You know what that's going to mean? It means you're not going to have your nice fancy little house and your nice fancy little car. I want you down here tomorrow.
Okay. How about this, Morgan? How about if I'll call this number tomorrow, or I'll call your cell phone in the morning. There's nothing I can do right now. I can't get on a plane right now. Is it all right if I just go back to bed and then I'll just give you a buzz in the morning? But yes,
Or he just slams the phone and
ticket.
doesn't.
Okay.
Doesn't. Not a patient man.
Is there anybody else you want to call, sir?
No, I don't want to go back to that room. I mean, this is ridiculous. Why would I go back there?
Sir, I'll be honest with you, and that you guys are in the nicest room. Of all of the second ward, that is by far the nicest room. Like, you have running water, you have your own toilet.
Should be happy about running water.
Unfortunately here, yeah. We do the best we can. And the only thing I can tell you is, from my understanding, looking at your chart, I can't imagine you're going to be here, but just a couple more weeks. And I will do everything in my power to make this bearable.
Just get me back to my room.
So she escorts you back to the room. While that's happening, Ken, Another gentleman, not nearly the size of this elf guy, comes in, but dressed much like elf, comes in. He keeps his head down the entire time, not making eye contact with anybody, not saying anything to anybody. He's got a cart with fresh sheets. He pulls all the sheets off. He's changing the sheets, and then he's going to then clean up the floor. If anybody wants to interact with him, you're more than welcome to.
I'm just gonna thank you, sir. I really appreciate you cleaning up this mess. And do you need any help with this? No. Okay. Do you know when our effects might get here? I'm kind of antsy about getting my knife back.
No, sir. I just clean.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Does this happen often?
Blood, ma'am? Yes, there's lots of blood at the house.
No, the attacking part.
No, ma'am. He's from the psychiatric ward. And no, normally people don't get out of the psychiatric ward.
Oh, okay.
But Mr. Langley's trouble. He has been one of the tougher patients here. He there's times where I think he's getting better, then he gets worse, then he gets better, then he gets worse. And obviously I can, based on the blood, I haven't seen him, but I assume he hurt himself again.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how to explain that part, but yeah. I can't go to sleep. Can anyone else go to sleep?
Not really. Could I have a glass of water, please?
And he kind of shuffles out as he's finishing up when you ask that, and he runs into, not literally runs into, but comes in proximity to when Morgan and Nurse Dampier is coming back in. And he says, yeah, they would like some water. She goes, of course. And she comes in and he goes, I'll get water for everybody. And I heard as I was coming in, you were worried, ma'am, about sleeping. I can get you a sedative if you'd like to make sure.
Nope.
Okay. If you change your mind, let me know. And she kind of escorts Morgan to the bed, and she sees that the bed is made. And Ken, to this kid's credit, like military bounce a quarter, right? The kid did pretty good.
Like military corners and everything.
Oh yeah. Very impressive. She goes, all right, I'm gonna get waters. Is anybody hungry? I've got Jello.
Could I please get a cup of coffee, ma'am?
Yes, I'll brew up some coffee. Anybody else? I've got one coffee. I've got 3 waters.
Do you have any
bourbon.
cigarettes?
Well, no smoking in here.
Don't
Please
have
no.
any cigarettes, but if you didn't have any cigarettes in your stuff, I can tell you that. And she kind of looks around. She goes, head nurse smokes. She might let you bum one and take you outside so you could have a smoke. But no,
You.
unfortunately, no. Now, if you want, I can get a prescription for nicotine gum. Would that be helpful?
That'll work.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Thank you.
As each of you settle, she goes to get that thing. Get all of fill your order.
Okay. All right, where are we?
Well, I don't know if she said, we're in the, Allentown's worst hospital. Or at least this thing is on the nomination to get knocked down. I thought they'd already closed everything down, but this is actually quite a historic place, and it's prime real estate. So we were actually looking at perhaps seeing for some development stuff, but this is an old hospital. This is not where I should be.
He told me I should be thankful we have running water.
I mean, that is true. We should be thankful that we have running water in the hospital.
From the
You know how
look of
much
this
we're
place,
paying for this a night, right? You know how much we're paying. We deserve more than just running water.
from the looks of this place, I think she's right. We are lucky we have running water, and we're also probably lucky we don't have hepatitis at this point.
That's still debatable right now.
Well, I think you guys are lucky that you've got, whatever the other guy doesn't have anymore.
It was was really
I
bad.
think Morgan looks
Oh,
down to
God.
make sure.
Oh, God, where
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
still checking.
Oh,
I'm still
oh,
checking, making sure everything's fine.
You are both intact.
that's
I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, and
Mm.
somehow that was single-handedly the worst thing that I've seen. Yeah, just about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Do any of
Just
you
glad
have
I didn't say it
points
from the
in
back
medical?
end.
Any of you have medical? Any points in medical?
I've got 1 point in medicine.
So obviously, Sam, when you saw this injury on this gentleman, you immediately identified that, that part of his body had been emptied. But if you want to spend a point of that medicine investigative ability, I do have more information I can give you. So in
Yeah,
Gumshoe, there's no roles for investigative here. She's got a certain amount of points in medicine, and she gets information for free by just having it. And then if there's an opportunity to learn even more, I will offer that. And so here in the case, she's going to go ahead and spend one of her points in medicine. And Sam, you could tell that this was not surgical, right? Based off of the cut of the injury and the amount of blood, that this was a violent act that caused this to happen. So this wasn't a situation where maybe there were some stitches that got loose or anything like this. As best as you can tell, they were torn from him, either by someone or somebody else, or by himself, I mean. But he no longer has those organs.
Oh, well, so that was the nurse said he did it to himself. My God. Well,
Yeah, a psychiatric hospital is.
well, I thought that was pretty much the only wing that they had left open. So it's oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't wake up or anything.
But I
when
don't.
they transferred us.
I mean, I've been in a coma for 3 months. So, but I'm awake now. So I mean, I should wake up if they move us. I thought. I mean, I'm not going to sleep. I mean, I'll not wake up again.
So do you think they drugged us?
I
Think they drugged us to get us over here?
I wouldn't be
What?
surprised, but I'd be shocked. I knew Dr. Haverly was too nice, and it's something about nice doctors I just don't trust.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any
Oh, yeah.
sense. I mean, it's
Without telling us is.
Yeah, they should have told us if they were going to bring us over here.
I mean, what if we woke up? I mean, if they think that we're not going to make a fuss or anything, then I mean, what if we woke up while they were moving us? I don't know. By the way, I'm Sam. I think I've seen you around, perhaps. I don't know. You seem kind of familiar, and I point at Morgan.
Yeah, I should be familiar. Have you read any of my books? Or
I don't know. What
listen
type of
to
books do
the
you?
mindfulness podcast?
Well, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I hadn't heard that one before. So.
Oh, really? So Morgan acts a little bit offended.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'll try it out. What's it about?
It's about finding a better you and getting what you want out of the life. We focus on the mind, body, and the spirit.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
you're that self-help shyster.
What?
I remember
Okay.
hearing about you.
So Morgan just goes back to his bed and climbs in. I don't
It's
need this
okay.
from you guys.
Everyone has podcasts these days.
Everyone has podcasts.
And most of them are terrible.
How many people
Especially
have
the
Oprah
self-help
Winfrey
ones.
on their podcast, though?
So,
And then he
Is she still
bubbles
relevant?
over, and I'm ignoring the rest of the people.
It's just light picking.
So as the adrenaline finally kind of leaves your body, I think the exhaustion definitely kicks in. So I need to know if anybody's going to attempt to stay awake, or are we just going to let sleep overtake us?
No, Ken is
Gotta
not
make
going back
sure
to
that-
sleep. That's why he got the coffee.
Okay. And she
Uh,
brought back coffee. Everything has a lid on it, straw in the water, and she brings back the coffee. She asks if you like it black or
Yeah, just black's fine, ma'am.
great. Hands that over to you. All right. So we know Ken is going to try to stay up.
uh, Angela's going to attempt to stay up, but she's honestly going to like lay down and just probably still pass out from exhaustion.
All right. Sam?
I think I'm going to try and stay awake. I'm like, I spent 3 months sleeping. I slept through something that I shouldn't have slept through, so I'm a bit hesitant to go to sleep.
Sure. And how about Morgan?
I noticed that Ken's drinking coffee, so that means he's probably going to stay awake. So I pull my curtain open so I can see if anything's coming, and I go to sleep. Bodyguard.
So Ken and Sam, you definitely can keep yourself awake. It is going to be another hit point. To the exertion of fighting this and staying awake is going to cost you. It's only about 2 or 3 hours later. You see the sun starting to come in through the one window in your room. For Sam and for Ken, I think it might be the first time you realize that there's bars on this window. You can also see that obviously it snowed last night because the entire grounds of the hospital that you can see from this window is covered in a fresh blanket of snow. And because of the different plaster Catholic iconic statues that are spread around the grounds, you can tell there was a good bit of snow, maybe a good 1.5 feet, 2 foot of snow that came up there. And Angela, you're asleep. Morgan's asleep as well. So just Sam and Ken see the door open, and a woman in a similar outfit as Miss Dampier in the morning comes in. Her name tag identifies her as Nurse Clayton. Now, Nurse Clayton, unlike Nurse Dampier, Nurse Clayton is a little bit older, maybe in her mid to late 40s. You can tell that her appearance is something that's very important to her. She's also fresh, much fresher after starting a shift as opposed to ending the shift as for Miss Dampier. She comes in. She gently opens the curtains for both Angela and for Morgan. And she immediately tells you, I hope that you both got some sleep. I heard what happened last night.
Yeah, there's no way I could sleep after that.
Well, there's not going to be a whole lot going on today. So by all means, if you need some help, she goes, would you like, I have sleeping pills or sedative if you'd like,
No.
if you want to.
Just another coffee, please.
Okay.
I've slept 3 months. I can skip one. Do you know when Dr. Haveley? I mean, they transferred us and they didn't let us know. I mean, we just woke up here. We didn't know this was happening. And do you know when our stuff is going to get here? Did they tell our?
No. So a few things. One, unfortunately, this morning, I believe that she's running late, but I would anticipate that Nurse Mather, who's the head nurse, she should be here, I guess, in the next hour or so would be my guess. She runs this place.
Okay.
Now, as far as Dr. Haverly, he typically doesn't come here but once a week. And I think he is scheduled for Wednesday. So he should be here day after tomorrow. But Dr. Drake is here. Dr. Drake is a trusted doctor that works with Dr. Haverly, and he is in charge. He's the lead physician here. I would expect Dr. Drake to come probably pretty close to when you see Nurse Mather.
Okay, because I understand there was a COVID outbreak or something at the other hospital, but I don't know how can you transfer us without letting us know in ahead of time.
It's funny. So Miss Dampier kind of told me that you guys weren't aware.
No,
Of
I
transfer.
went to sleep in the other hospital and then I woke up here because I kind of lowered my voice again. That guy was screaming, was shouting, and so why didn't we wake up? I mean, what? yeah, I don't know. I think well, you don't know so well, and I understand that. So it's thanks for
Well,
being here. But yeah,
of course, and the order. I'm sure the orderlies will be here with breakfast,
okay.
and we'll have coffee for everybody, of course. And is there anything else that I can do for any of you? Anything that you need?
No, well,
I was curious, and I'm pointing at the bars. What's with the bars?
They've been there. They've been there since the beginning. I don't know if it's to prevent people from jumping out or preventing people from coming in. But like those bars have been here, from my understanding, even before this part of town became
yeah,
dangerous. But
Seems kind of odd
it's
for
just
the.
it's not all of the windows are barred. It's not just yours. So please don't take it personally.
No, I was just curious. I mean, this is a hospital. I don't recall ever seeing a hospital with bars on the window.
This is an older hospital.
it's I kind of pipe up. Yeah, this early 20th century. I mean, the bars were all the rage. So that's yeah, but.
The bars were all
And
the
well, it
rage.
turned out for this neighborhood, but the neighborhood's actually getting better. So
Okay.
yeah. So but yeah, so you say in another hour or something breakfast, and they'll be bringing us stuff. And what was her name? Nurse Mather. She should know more. Okay.
The head nurse Mather. She should
Yeah.
be here within an hour, and I expect she'll bring Dr. Drake. I'm sure Dr. Drake is going to want to check in with each
Okay.
one of you, and I anticipate all of them would be able to answer your questions.
Okay. Are we the only ones that got transferred from the other hospital?
Last night, yes, you guys were the only the four of you were transferred. And I'll be honest, we don't have many patients. We have 3 or 4 in the 4th ward, the psych ward. We've got I think now we have like 6 children in the children's ward, and really the 4 of you.
Okay.
Are they expecting more transfers today?
Sir, they don't tell us anything. Nurse Dampier said she knew nothing about your transfer, and then the ambulance showed up with the 4 of you in it. And they just wheeled you guys all in, from what she told me. And luckily, we had this room. But
Oh well, thank you very much. Do I get the sense that she's entirely honest? I've got a point in bullshit detector. I mean, she comes across very honest, and she's just
so with no spend. She is earnest. She definitely is being honest as far as she knows. So she from her perspective on the way the world works, everything that she said is true. With a point spend, you can pick up a little bit more. Speaking of point spends, both Angela and Morgan, if you spent any points, those are completely back again, so you can get those points back. So I don't know if Sam wants to spend a point on.
I'll keep that. I think this is just the hardworking nurses just doing their job, so I'm trying to be nice about it.
Anything that you guys want to do after she leaves, when it's just the 4 of you, before the anticipated Nurse Clayton and Dr. Drake come in?
Yeah, Angela will sit up. Oh, before I start, do we get healed? Does the health damage that we took get healed too?
No.
Okay. She's gonna look at her roommates now and say, okay, I've been in and out of hospitals for the most part, right? This is the first time this has ever happened to me, and I'm not the heaviest of sleepers, so this doesn't make any sense still.
So I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
don't
these
sleep
ladies don't.
that heavy either. There's no reason for us to have slept, or there's no reason for me to have slept through that.
Me either. And last night just kind of seems like a dream. I'm wondering if they drugged us.
That's what I'm thinking.
I take out I've still actually got the clipboard underneath. So I take out the clipboard and I kind of check it for dents or blood or anything on it, that there's any sign that I
Oh
hit somebody
yes,
with it?
yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. There's still like remnants in between the tile grout. So what happened
Okay.
last night definitely happened.
Yeah. So I hold up the slightly blood splattered clipboard, and I say, "That happened. That I don't know what it was, but that happened." And then I'm like, I look around. Didn't they say there was a toilet or a bathroom here?
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a second door that you now see, and that leads to a small closet bathroom that has a small standing shower in it as well.
Okay. And then I look around and I'm like, well, that's it. But shit, no clothes. Oh, well.
Hey guys, I don't know if I acted. I know I embarrassed myself last night. I apologize. I'm under a lot of stress, and whatever they gave me kind of made me feel cranky.
You know what? A man that was bleeding from his scrotum came out and attacked one of us. I don't blame any reactions that we had last night, nor do I blame anyone for having them. By the way, I'm Angela.
And I'm Morgan. Nice to meet you, Angela.
Nice to meet you as well.
So an orderly brings you what would be considered breakfast. They're tinned like TV tray type plates. You have obviously reconstituted scrambled eggs from a powder, some runny grits, some very, very aggressively cooked pieces of bacon, and under toasted light toast with some margarine packets next to it, and a pot of coffee with four cups. And the orderly, the same one that cleaned it up before, he wheels it in and kind of leaves it there for the four of you to partake.
Do you have tea? Or just coffee? Tea? Oh, thanks.
I'll take tea too.
Yeah, thanks.
So
Lots
he
of
leaves-
sugar.
Cream. If you can bring cream, that'd be great.
So he comes back and he has got like Lipton tea bags
Okay, that's
with a pot of hot water and the like that industrial powdered creamer. And he just kind of sets them all on the tray for you, and he just kind of waits to make sure everything is okay.
Thank you. And I look around for a name tag.
No name tag.
Okay, thank you.
Nor did the gentleman last night have one.
Oh, okay.
The other orderly.
Thank you. Your name?
You can call me Dave.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dave.
Dave, you've been having a
Dave
long
on the
night. When
back
do you
is
get
he-
off?
Oh, I like to work. I like to work doubles. I work. If I work 2 doubles, then I get 4 days off, and then I can work. Then I work 2 doubles and get 4 days off.
Oh, that's smart. Okay.
That's pretty smart, David.
It's good work. It's good work.
Cool.
So he leaves. You guys eat as much as your breakfast as you want to. At no point, I think would any of you think you would miss the food from county. But you do, because their eggs were made of eggs, and the creamer was liquid. You hear a small kind of, but nobody waits for you to respond, and the door opens. And who enters is a woman who, if she's 70, she's 85. And she has got very comfortable shoes on. She has got white stockings. She has a bit of a oval egg shape to her. She's got a very thin, almost lipless mouth, very thick glasses on, and tidy bunned, large bun at the back, gray hair. She comes in and she goes, "Are you done with breakfast?"
Yes, thank you. Are you Nurse Mathis?
She looks at her name tag and looks at you.
Well, evidently. Good morning. I understand you're in charge here.
I am the head nurse.
So we were wondering, well, we woke up last night here and we were apparently transferred and it wasn't discussed with us. So I have some questions. And our stuff, is that going to be here anytime soon?
I'm not in charge of any of that. That is all up to county.
Have you seen guest that I was
Okay.
expecting this morning, Jonathan?
There's been no guess. David,
So-
get this cart. She yells into the hallway, and we see David come in and grab the cart, and he starts to wheel it out.
Okay, so I understand we've been transferred here, and are the treatments I was having, physio, etc., is that going to be done here as well now, or?
You can ask the doctor that. The
Can we
only
just
thing I
talk-
want, what I would like, is that for each of you to be well, and I would also like a minimal amount of frustration from each of you. I am very short-staffed. We will do the very best we can in this facility. This is nobody should have to work under these conditions. Yet me and my staff have been for years now. I'm sure you're not happy about being here. Neither am I. But Dr. Drake will be here and maybe he can answer your questions. Do you need anything or are we done?
Well, other than my stuff, but I understand I should be talking to Dr. Drake about that.
Sure.
Well,
Have a great day.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you could just go.
And she does.
She's a pleasant lady.
That
Soon
was
after
that
that,
was
a middle-aged man, you'd guess mid 50s or mid 40s, sorry. Glasses similar to mine. You can see gray is starting to appear in his hair. He's in a doctor's, I don't know what they call those,
Scrubs.
like a lab coat.
Yeah.
Stethoscope, so you know he's a doctor. Name tag, Dr. Drake. And he comes in and he goes, I see you all made it safe. I'd like to go one by one. I want to review your charts. I've got to report everything to Dr. Haverly, of course. And whatever questions you have, I will do my best to answer them. Let's go to break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. So this doctor walks in, and right behind him, pushing a empty wheelchair, is our large orderly, who was named Elf. Hey, McBluff, good to see you. Doctor comes in, and he immediately comes over to you, Angela, and says, I'm Dr. Drake, and he offers his hand.
I will shake it.
He says, I'm going to give everybody their examination, but Dr. Haverly had sent a message this morning that he would like to run some tests. So if it's okay, if you would get in the wheelchair, Alf will take you down to my examination room, and I shouldn't be more than 15, 20 minutes here, if that's okay.
Sure. Let's just get this over with.
So you get into the wheelchair.
Mhm.
And gingerly, so will not take any damage for it. And Elf wheels you down the hallway. Next, he comes to you, Sam, introduces himself.
Good, nice to meet you. Well, a bit strange circumstances, but yeah.
Where's your chart, ma'am?
Oh, yeah,
nurse
sorry,
take-
and I pull it out from. We had a visitor, last night, and well,
I heard about that, and I
here's-
hate that happened. That poor man has had a terrible, terrible time. And he takes the chart from me and he starts flipping through it, and he goes, "And how are we feeling this morning?"
Well, yeah, well, all right, but mainly confused because, well, I have a couple of questions because Nurse, I think the night nurse, Nurse Dampier, said we were transferred here because there was a COVID outbreak at the other place. But I mean, nobody told us, and I just woke up here, and I don't understand how could they even, I mean, shouldn't they have discussed this with us first? And how didn't I wake up when they transferred us here? And we're still missing our stuff. I mean, can I get a change of clothes and my stuff?
So it's my, and let me start off by saying that the county has done this before, and it's very, very frustrating. And I am sorry that this happened. I promise that, we'll do our best to take care of you here. I talked to Dr. Haverly this morning. He said he wants to be transferred back as soon as beds free up. He said that he will be here on Wednesday to check in with each of you in the meantime. I've worked with Dr. Haverly for a long time, and I promise you're in good hands with me. But yes, my understanding is your stuff is on the way.
Okay.
They should have it here, and I don't know why it wasn't brought with you. But I am so sorry. But back to how you're feeling. How are your legs? Are you were up and about? I understand last night.
Yeah, I was up and around. It's actually it's getting better. I was standing and I was moving. It was yeah. I think I'm getting better. It's yeah.
So do you mind if we just do a quick exam?
Yeah. But still, I mean, the other three, they didn't wake up, but I mean, I don't understand how I didn't wake up when they transferred us.
I to be honest with you, I don't either. That surprises me that you would have slept through the whole thing. I'm not sure. Maybe they gave you a sedative. I don't know. I can, and I would assume they would have done it to all of you. So I'm going to be running tests for her, and he kind of motions to where Angela's empty bed is, because I'll be running tests on her, and if I don't have records of any sedatives, but it would show up in her blood work.
Okay, I would like to know that, because I mean, I know while I was in a coma, drugs were administered, and I'm fine, but I'm awake now, so I do want to know, and I do want her to have a say if they drug me. So
of course,
yeah, but I'm actually, it was last night. Oh well, it's I think I'm getting better.
Well, good. And he's kind of like gesturing, and he pulls the curtain around, and he does a very routine examination, right? Testing your reflexes and things like that. I think one of the biggest takeaways for you, Sam, especially with your some background in medicine, a wonderful bedside manner. He's very kind. He always asks permission before doing anything. He explains to you what he's doing as he's doing it. He's got very kind hands in the way that he's doing it. So and it's not that you didn't have good doctors at county. You had very good doctors, but this is really next level. And just the fact that he's spending this much time with you is something that you would never get in county. In county, that was boom, 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 boom. The doctors were good. They knew what they were doing, but it was a bit of a churn there. Let's cut to Angela. Angela, you're on the elevator with Alf. He hasn't said a word to you. And the elevator's got kind of this weird sound, like it's really struggling, to go down a floor, and finally takes you to the first floor of the hospital and takes you out onto the first floor. As you exit the elevator, you see a long hallway off to your right, and you can see what is likely like a reception area, front door area, not a soul to be seen. He wheels you, and as he takes you along in your wheelchair, you pass the children's ward. The door is closed. It's a windowless door. Above it is a light that looks like an indicator light, like maybe a nurse call or something like that. Wheels you further along, and you pass a door that to be the morgue because it's labeled morgue, and then takes you farther down that hallway to two doors that are facing each other, one on either side of the hallway. The one to the right, as he wheels you in, is the examination room. The examination room is functional at best. Everything is very, very old. It still has that we are trying to keep this place clean smell, that just hard chemical smell. Without saying a word, he wants to help. He offers to help you up onto the examination table.
Oh yeah.
And he takes the wheelchair and he leaves, and the door is still open. And across from it, you see Dr. Drake's name on what maybe is his office across the hallway.
Okay. All right. He seemed nice. She'll give it like 3 minutes before she gets up and wanders over.
Okay, so let's go ahead and cut back to you, Ken. As Dr. Drake finishes with Sam, he comes over to you, asks, says, asks if he can give you an examination.
Yes, I have no problem with that. I mean, that's why I'm here.
So lays you down, same side of standard things. I don't know if you want to ask him anything or.
Is the guy that came into our room last night, is he okay? I've been kind of worried about him through most of the night. I mean,
Yeah, unfortunately, he passed away last night.
it wasn't anything that I did, was it?
No. He lost a lot of blood. He had injured himself, and before he escaped the fourth ward and came down here, and Elf brought him to my examination room and called me, and I got here as fast as I could. Nurse Dampier did everything she could, but he was not very cooperative. Luckily, Elf, prevented him from hurting himself more or hurting anybody else. But he was alive when I got here, but there was nothing that I could do. And it's sad because I really feel like he was showing some improvements, and there was times where he was definitely better, times where he was getting worse, but I hate to lose a patient.
Yeah, that's very understandable. Well, give my best wishes to his family if he had any family.
From my understanding, he didn't, but I will definitely pass. That's very, very kind of you. Let's
Thank
cut
you.
back to anxious Angela, who is in the examination room, and the 3 minutes are up.
Yeah. She wants to get up and like go into the doctor's office.
So you
Just
cross. Yeah, go ahead.
Curious. She just
Sure.
yeah.
So I would imagine you peek either way out the examination hallway, and of course it's empty. And as you walk across, the door is locked.
Yeah. Okay. She'll go back to the examination room and have a seat.
All right. And we cut to Morgan. Morgan, you are now getting an examination from Dr. Drake.
Hi, doctor. How are you?
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, sir. From my understanding, Dr. Haverly says here, and he's kind of looking at the chart and says, looks like that you're improving. And my guess is that you'll be out of here. And, boy, if you're here 8 days, I'll be surprised.
I'm ready to go home today. I mean, I feel fantastic. Had a great night's sleep. I'm ready to get out.
And that's really going to be Dr. Haverly's call. So if you can just be patient until he gets here on Wednesday, day after tomorrow, I think you and Dr. Haverly should have that conversation. We're really going to need him to release you. But in the meantime, obviously, I'll make sure that you're here and taken care of.
So have you spent your career here?
No, I've been here. Boy, I guess it's coming on 10 years now. Yeah, I've been here 10 years. Dr. Haverly, gave me the position of head physician here, which I guess is better than not being a head physician. Obviously, this is not the nicest facility in the world, but he's told me that this is a chance for me to really prove myself. And if
nice.
When this place gets shut down, if I can show a really good record, my hope is that I can get transferred over to county, and that's what I'm hoping.
Sounds nice. Where'd you go to school?
It was in the Philippines. You probably have never heard of it. And then, of course, after getting my degree in the Philippines, I came here, and of course I've passed all of the medical bars and everything. So I'm fully licensed, I can assure you.
That's nice. You ever been to Germany? I love Germany. It's a beautiful place.
So he pauses, Morgan, when you say that, and waits a half second, and his demeanor changes a little bit. So kind of the friendly, the kind demeanor that he has kind of stiffens a little bit, and he goes, no, I've never been to Germany. Is there reason that
Does
you
that
asked me
set
that?
off my bullshit detector?
Yeah, a little bullshit detector action. All right. Yeah, for just having bullshit detector, I pretty much have given you that information, right? That the question impacted him. Do you have anything in like psychology or anything close to
Uh,
that? Anything empathetic based?
yeah, I do. Let me see.
What do you have? Let's see. You've got, I see intimidation, cop talk. Let's see here.
I thought I had
Oh,
something
I'm looking
in
at Kent.
reassurance. Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at Morgan here.
Reassurance and flattery. That's about all I'm good at.
Yeah, and bureaucracy and bullshit detector. If you want to spend your point in bullshit detector, I can give you some more information. So spending that point, not only did his demeanor change, but he's not lying about Germany. He has never been to Germany. He seems to be shutting down. So kind of the open flow of conversation freezes. And after you ask that question, as he continues the examination, by no means is he being a jerk, but kind of is it okay if I do this? The small talk is over. He's finishing up the examination, and it is obvious, you can tell that he wants to stop talking to you.
I think to kind of recover, just mentioned, yeah, I've been in Stuttgart for a while, wrote a book and led some classes. Just a beautiful country. Love the country.
My understanding is that you have a background in medicine, or you're a psychologist or something.
Yeah, sort of psychology. Yeah. I lead mindfulness training, and we have a resort in Sedona where we help people get their lives back under control.
Do you speak German?
I had an interpreter with me.
Gotcha. Okay. So you can't read German or anything?
No.
Okay. So as he wraps that up, he leaves the three of you and walks out. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Are we allowed to leave the room and walk around? Or, well, I mean, as soon as we get close, I kind of indicate the gowns. Because at county, it was helpful to move around a bit. Or should we stay in the room?
You know what? Let me talk to Nurse Clayton. She is a bit of a battle axe, and is pretty strict about things. But as far as I'm concerned, I see no reason. I'll tell you, there's not a whole lot to see, but maybe if we can get you some warm clothes, maybe a walk around outside would be good. I'm always very much an advocate for allowing patients to be outside as much as possible. I think there's healing qualities there. But let me talk to her. Just let me ask, because she's just going to say no if you do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Drake.
We cut to Angela. Dr. Drake comes in, sees you on the examination table, closes the door, and he says, "So how have you been feeling, Angela?"
Not bad. Just besides last night, it's not horrible.
And from my understanding, talking to Dr. Haverly and looking at your chart, and he's got your clipboard with him, my understanding is we're not experiencing any withdrawal symptoms anymore?
No.
And how's the smoking going?
Oh, I would like a cigarette, and I'm waiting on nicotine gum.
Well,
I'm still smoking.
Hopefully. Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard the Riot Act. So I'm not going to give it to you again, but we really need you to stop that. But if that prevents you from doing some of the harder things that you've experimented with, I guess that's better than nothing. Here, if you don't mind getting on the table and laying down, and he starts doing his exam, you experience a very similar Dr. Drake as the others did until they asked about Germany. Very nice, very kind, answers whatever questions you have, is very optimistic about your prognosis. Is there anything you want to discuss with Dr. Drake during the examination?
I think I'll ask him. So, from what the nurse at night said, the night nurse, that no one knew we were coming in last night. It was just a sudden thing.
Yeah, I get very mad about county. County just treats us as a dumping ground, and please don't take that the wrong way, but they don't. I think in their lack of
Yeah.
respect for this facility, it ends up often spilling over to a lack of respect for patients. I heard from your roommates that you guys had no notification of this. I do have authorization. I see Dr. Haverly did, sign off on the transfer, but it's unacceptable that you were not told this was going to happen. It is odd that none of you were awoken during the process. I would expect them to at least wake you up and let you know what's going, gather your
Right.
stuff and things like that. I don't know what's going on. And quite frankly, nobody will answer any of my questions. I think Dr. Haverly, might be the best bet. And I'm sure he's frustrated. I did send him a message to let him know that did happen. So knowing him, I'm sure that he will right that wrong. But you're here now. We should have your stuff soon.
Hopefully. The foreign guy yelling at us last night. What?
And he's never gotten out before. I don't know how much you were told, but he's one of 3 patients in the psych ward. Mr. Langley, God rest his soul. He hurts himself. He's never done quite that before. He lost too much blood.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Don't know why I'm surprised at that. It was a lot of blood. I saw it. Okay.
So,
Whew.
Angela, the head nurse comes in.
Mhm.
So we see Nurse Mathers comes in with the wheelchair, and Dr. Drake turns and goes, Nurse Mather. Yes, yeah, we are all done here. If you don't mind taking Angela back up to the room. And the air about this, she barely tolerates being spoken to right now, and you can just see it in her face, right? Just it doesn't acknowledge that Dr. Drake is talking. And he goes, and they mentioned, that they'd like to walk around and things, and I don't think it's smart for them to be confined to their room. It's not safe, doctor. They could walk off to one of the abandoned wings and they could hurt themselves, and all of us would be in terrible. No, I understand that, but how about this? How about if we get them, when their clothes and stuff get here, like we can go to the grounds and they can walk around the grounds. You could have Elf or Dave with them. And fine, doctor, if that is your directive, fine. We'll let them go outside. I don't want them wandering the halls here. It's just not safe. And I understand that. Before you leave, Angela, real quick, have you been feeling tired? Has your energy level lately, maybe in the last couple of weeks, been down? Because I noticed that you have a bit of anemia, that your blood count, cell count is low, and that concerns me. I don't know if you felt any of those symptoms. Typically, it'll be, tired, exhaustion. You don't have the same type of energy level.
I thought that was just from the entire healing process as well.
Well, I'm glad we did the tests. So here, just give me 1 second. And he reaches into a cabinet, pulls out like one of those little plastic cups, and there's a black pill in it. And he goes, here, and he gets some water, and he goes, here, take this. I don't think we do. Probably let's take this and see if it has an impact. If we see your levels go up, we'll run blood tests tomorrow again. And if it doesn't matter, then we can get off of this. But I think this will help.
Okay, I was just gonna hold it up, look at it. Oh, it's a different color pill. What is it? And she like knocks it back.
Because it's an iron pill. It's essentially a glorified, overpriced vitamin. But like I said, if we see your iron levels come up and the anemia doesn't show up in the test tomorrow, I think it should be fine.
Awesome. Can I don't know. Angela's like weary around super nice people. Is her bullshit detector coming off at any point from him?
So without a spend, he seems pretty damn genuine.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be full of shit. Now, with one spend, you might get a little bit more information.
I will spend it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You noticed a reaction, a very, very subtle reaction once he was sure you swallowed the pill.
Fuck. Okay, sorry. Excuse my language.
Now, it's not clear, and there's no more spend to be made here. It's not clear to you
Okay.
whether it was, I'm glad that, she's a good patient and this should be helpful or whatever, but he was very focused on the pill getting into your mouth and you drinking the water and, and immediately talked to you and asked you a question afterwards to make sure that there was not a pill in your mouth. So you taking that pill was very important to him.
Okay. Cool.
It's
Don't
fine.
know if it's good or bad. It's all good.
It's fine. Your iron levels will be right back up. So he leaves, and our lovely Nurse Mathers just makes a gesture to the chair, no intent on helping you.
She's. Can I get a little bit of help?
She kind of rolls her eyes and she puts you back into the chair. For all of you, and this is all 4 of you, let's restore all our health back up to full. So the attention of Dr. Drake and the couple hours that you have spent here has restored all of your health. Angela, go ahead.
As she's helping me, I want to ask her, so by any chance do you smoke?
And you see her kind of go, like smell her clothes, and she goes, yes. Not that it's your business.
No, no judgment here at all. In fact, could I bum a cigarette off you if we go walking? And I want to try to use my negotiation skill.
Ooh, okay. So what do we have in negotiation?
We have 2.
Okay.
I'll spend it if need be.
Yeah, if you want to spend a point.
Yeah.
All right, let's spend that point. So she goes, well, what kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
Normally Newport, but I'll go for anything.
So I don't have Newports. How about this? I go on lunch break, and I go to the lounge, and I'll come get you. We can share a cigarette, but I would expect you to buy me a pack in return.
I have a pack on its way once my stuff get here for you.
And I also expect you not to tell anybody.
I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
She helps you into the wheelchair, and she starts to wheel you into the hallway. And as you're headed down the hallway back to the elevator, the red light above the child's ward goes off, and it shines red. And she goes, oh, can you just wait here a second?
Oh, yeah.
And she frustratedly stomps her way down the hallway towards the child ward. And you don't realize it until the door opens that she stopped you right in front of the morgue. And the door to the morgue opens.
Okay.
And out comes a very large man in scrubs. It's Elf.
Oh, okay.
He looks down at you. Looks down either side of the hallway. He seems befuddled by the fact that you're just sitting there. And he leans down and smells you.
I just do that. I'm just waiting for Nurse the head nurse to come. Alf, right? Do you talk? Close enough.
And he heads off in the other direction. And I don't
Okay.
know if it's your amazingly fragrant hair distracted him, but he did not close the morgue door.
Oh.
And as you're in your wheelchair sitting there, once Elf gets out of sight, you kind of, you can't stop yourself, right? Just kind of look into the morgue. And oh boy, this place is old. But there is a steel slab table there. And there's a sheet covering a body. And it appears that the arm of whoever's under that sheet has kind of fallen off the table. So it's exposed from there. And it may be a good 15 feet away, but you do see a yellow ID bracelet. And it looks like it's been chewed on. And immediately you go back to last night and remember our friend, our German friend, had that bracelet, and you noticed that last night too, but it didn't register until you see it again here. That looks like, he had been gnawing at that ID bracelet.
Am I strong enough to will myself?
Sure.
Gosh. I'm gonna will myself in and get like a closer look at the ID bracelet just to kind of have a name with not a memory, but a face.
So you wheel yourself into the morgue, and the door still remains open unless you want to close it.
I keep it open.
Okay. You can see the cabinet drawers where they put the bodies, right? There is no other table here at the morgue. This is the only body in the morgue. As you wheel closer and you look, you see it says very clearly Gavin Langley on the bracelet.
I'll say to him, sorry this has happened to you. This is a really just kind of crappy way to go. Hopefully your end death will be better than your life. And she's going to start wheeling herself out.
So as you turn the wheelchair, while you're still maybe at 45 degrees, not quite facing him, it looks like the sheet is being drawn down by the arm itself. So the sheet falls off.
Huh.
And you see who you saw last night. He's laying there. Eyes are closed. You can't help yourself. The condition that caused all the bleeding seems to still be there. But you notice something else.
Okay.
A clear slit throat.
Okay.
Not a scar. Open wound.
Like it just.
It's obviously not bleeding. But
Okay.
yes, there was no sign of that last night.
I have nothing to medic. Yeah, she's gonna go fast. Like just will her way out.
So as you wheel yourself out, you get out to the hallway. The door closes just as Nurse Mather comes out of the child ward. The light is now off. She walks down, she grabs the wheelchair, and she starts to wheel you back.
So has Dr. Drake been working here long?
Yes.
Seems like a dick a little bit. I don't
He's
like
a
him.
doctor. You know how they are.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She's trying to not say anything till she gets to the room at this point because she's pretty sure that wasn't there last night.
So let's cut back to you being brought back up to the room. Our three friends are there in the room. uh, Nurse Clayton comes in with the head nurse, and she says, "Sir," looking at you, Morgan. She goes, "I have a message from you for you from your assistant."
Mhm.
He said he's glad that you left him a message because he was about to buy the plane ticket.
Wait a minute. What do you mean I left him a message?
I don't know. Let's go to credits. We'll be back. Okay, so we survived the first episode. Now the four of you, and maybe I've overdone it. I don't know. We'll have to see as time progresses. Did I oversell the intensity on this, Naomi?
Oh,
No, it's got off to a flying start, and we're on very unequal footing. So yeah.
So one of the things that I like to do on this channel now is an idea from the Gauntlet podcast, which is Stars and Wishes. And this is for the players, not the characters. So for the players, the star is going to be a star moment, a moment when you felt fully immersed. A star could be another player, it could be a moment. And then wishes is where you share what you as a player are hoping for. So what would you like to see next session? So let's start with you, John. Let's start off with your star moment. What was kind of the big moment for you, or a big interaction? What was the star for this episode?
oh, definitely the attack in the hospital bed. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That was just, I was 100% in at that point.
Good. I think I do love, and it's, I mean, I know if I was Ken, I would be very obsessed about making sure that I
Oh,
was
yeah.
attacked. So I thought
Yes.
that was great role playing. So how about wishes for you, John? What are you wishing for to find out in the next episode or two, or to get more of in the next episode or two?
Really, I'm just wishing to play tomorrow. Like,
I'm glad.
but, other than that, I'm kind of really curious about why, what's going on in that child's hospital room.
That piqued your interest of the existence of that? Yeah.
Yeah. Because it doesn't really make sense to me to have a psychiatric ward and a children's hospital in the same building.
Fair.
So I'm really kind of curious about what's going on with that.
How about for you, Naomi? Stars?
Well, the attack. I liked how Shadika, when she got the black pill, it's like, what is this? And just chugging it back, or perhaps not even in that order. I really enjoyed that. And I also very much enjoyed Dr. Drake's wonderful bedside manner. And I was like, oh, he totally packed me in. If I've got my bullshit meter, but it didn't even go off. And then it did go off with Morgan. So I really enjoyed that.
Good. And how about wishes, Naomi? What are you wishing for in the next episode or two?
Yeah, I think further exploration. I'm also very intrigued by the children's wards, which is right next to the morgue, which is very intriguing. And I'm very, well, I don't know if that's much a wish, but whether our stuff is going to get there, whether I'm going to get some clothes, take a shower. so yeah, no, that's very interesting in seeing where this goes.
Shadika, stars.
Okay, when Kevin's character Morgan went to call his publicist, it was perfection. Because I can definitely see that happen with someone of his caliber. So yeah, that was for sure the standout moment, for the star moment for me.
And how about wishes?
Oh my gosh, if someone could just learn German really quickly in the game, this would be amazing.
Yeah.
Bring it to player.
So I guess in saying that, I wish we will get our cell phones so we can at least do some quick. What does this mean in German?
Yeah, just download one of those translator apps.
Yeah.
Yep, Google Translate.
Google Translate.
Then we're all trying to, kind of mimic the sound.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I could definitely see that.
And lastly, getting to the doctor's office. It's a wish. Yeah.
How about for you, Kevin? Stars?
Well, everybody mentioned the beginning, but good grief, we started immediately. That was pretty intense. I really liked that part. I also liked, it's kind of a combination of things when the physician kind of changed his manner when we mentioned German. And then Shadika found that there was a little more than the guy bleeding to death and his privates ripped off.
Yeah, it might.
I don't think I've ever seen a podcast with you or a gameplay with you where somebody's been castrated. So that was a first.
Yeah, we might have to question the poor man's cause of death, I think, based off of what poor Angela just saw. How about wishes for you, Kevin?
It's going to be interesting to see where things go because I'm not sure I believe a black pill is iron. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens there. And, I think just feels like it's going to ratchet up. The nurses are weird and creepy. The doctor, evidently, he can be extremely creepy. I think the characters are going to have to put themselves into some danger here. I can see Morgan trying to acquire a cell phone if they don't bring his.
Excellent.
I love the creepy atmosphere.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that's coming through. That makes me happy. Yeah, there's a, it's one of those things where Gareth has created a very familiar setting with, the old decrepit hospital. We've seen that in then more than a few horror films. So I think it's very easy for us at the table to paint this picture for that. So guys, for those of you that are watching, I appreciate you watching. You know the whole routine: like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. If you don't listen to the podcast, we just released today an episode with Sean and Navi Drake talking about Dead Belt, the new game that they have up on Kickstarter. So check it out, Tabletop Talk. It's on all the pod platforms. If you want to watch our first run, completed run of Fear Itself, which also featured Shadika, you can go to our YouTube channel. There's a playlist for Fear Itself. Check it out. It was fun. It happened in the 80s. It was set in the 80s, but it was also, interestingly, in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Take care, everybody. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.